What's up? Welcome to Trackletics Live, the ultimate show for all things track and field. Join us as we dive deep into the sport, interviewing track and field athletes, coaches, nutrition specialists, and more. Get ready to hear some dope conversations and gain exclusive insight into what it takes to become a top performer in the sport. Whether you're a seasoned track and field athlete or just starting off, this is the show for you. So make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Let's get into the show. Everyone, let's welcome Marcus.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How's it going, man? How's your day going?
Going good. Had a good training session this morning, so happy with that.
Okay. What'd you do in training today?
I have a meet tomorrow, so I was just preparing, focusing on like technique stuff just to get right. You know what I mean?
Okay, where's your meet tomorrow?
Maryland,
Maryland.
University of Maryland.
Okay. Well, I'm wishing you the best in your competition. I'm definitely gonna follow your results, see how you do. But let me just give a little background to this episode. You are our first thrower, our first hammer thrower specifically. So I do have to say thank you for joining us on this live, taking the time out of your busy training schedule, your busy day, to sit down and have this conversation with me. I have a lot of questions for throwers. I've never been able to actually connect with a hammer thrower and, figure out what you're doing in training. We just kind of see it from afar, like, wow, okay, them dudes are strong. They really launching that thing, But yeah. I want to actually dive a little deeper into your track story, why you're a hammer thrower, stuff like that. So I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. So with that being said, let's kick this thing off, right? My first question I love to ask everybody is, what is your track and field story? How did you get into track? And why are you throwing the hammer? Like, that seems so intense. What made you want to throw the hammer, and how did you get into track and field?
Well, I got into track and field in middle school. I'm a former sprinter.
Okay.
Started in like 8th grade. My sister did track, and all my friends did. So I said, let me just join with them. And then throughout the years, I did the 1 and the 2 and the 4x1. And then high school, you see the shot putters and the discus throwers, they're all off to the side doing their thing. Mm-hmm. And so I go over there and I was like, hey, can I throw it? And so I picked it up. When I threw it, it went pretty far. And the throws coach was like, yeah, you're going to start coming to practice with the throws. I was like, okay, cool. And then my senior year, we did discus, and it went well. I qualified for states. And ever since then, I've been a thrower since 2013. So,
wow, that's crazy. So, go back for a second. When you showed up to track practice, you were already a sprinter. Mm-hmm. What made you look at the throwers like, let me try that? Was it like, hey, I think I can do that? I'm pretty strong. Did it look interesting to you? Did it look fun? Like, what made you want to get into that?
I think it just looked cool. Like, it's different. And the throwers are you're unique. So it's like they're always out there. They look like they were having fun. Yeah. I was probably like doing some 200 repeats or something like that, and I was just dying. I was like, let me just go out and let me see what they're doing, and yeah, just look interesting. So,
wow, okay. So you said you started off trying shot put, you tried discus.
Yep.
How did you get to hammer throw? I know not every school does hammer throw or has the the resources to actually be able to do hammer throw. Mm-hmm. How did you get into hammer?
So I got into hammer a little bit when I got into college, but I didn't really like it. So I kind of put it on the back burner for like 4 years until I ultimately came to Lock Haven University, and I needed another event because I wasn't doing shot. So it was just discus, and it gets a little boring when you're just doing discus. So I tried hammer, didn't really like it, and then just kept at it because it's an event you have to keep learning and practicing in order to like get good at it. And just over the like weeks and months and years, it just started growing on me more, and now we're here. So yeah.
Dang, that's dope. Yeah, now we're here, man. I watch all your videos. You really be out there launching that thing, and you got you wear a t-shirt, or in your avatar, your t-shirt says spin faster. So I wanted to ask a little bit about that. Yeah. First off, what does that mean to hammer throw? Is that part of the skill to actually help you launch it? And like, is that your personal brand? What is that?
So it's actually a funny story to the Spin Faster. A couple people know. But like it's for me, it's just like to keep getting after it, spin faster, put some rubber to the ground. But how it came to be was I'm up practicing with my coach, and we do a lot of light ball training. I picked it up, and I was first throw, and it was real slow. And so my coach looks at me. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I was just trying to feel for it. He's like, spin faster. And so I was like, all right, bet. And then it just stuck. So
Wow, that's dope. Okay. So is that your brand? Something you're repping?
yeah. It's something I created. So it's like so spin faster, never settle. So never settle was always my saying growing up, or since like high school. Always keep pursuing and always keep getting after it. Like don't just because you did something, you can keep going and keep getting after it and just try to be great. Like so that's what I live by. And so spin faster, never settle is just like something that just gets me motivated and keeps going.
Wow,
So
that's dope. Yeah, I definitely love the T-shirt. I'm gonna have to get one of those myself. I need one, bro.
I
For
got you.
sure, for sure. But with that being said, with throw and hammer being so difficult and hard, like what keeps you motivated to do it? To lock in the focus, to continue to train, because I'm sure it's a lot of aspects that actually go into being able to perform better. What keeps you motivated to do all of that?
I think uh, the goals I set for myself, and understanding that it's going to take a lot of work to get there. So just every day thing, if I slack off and then I don't, let's say I just want to skip practice one day, I'm ultimately not going to get to the goals I want because it takes a lot as a post-collegiate athlete and getting to where I want to ultimately go. Like you need every day to be focused and be training, and that's what I that's what you want to do. That's you got to put the work in. So that's what just keeps me motivated. I love throwing hammer. Like I get excited. Like yeah, I get to throw the next day. It's my off day. I get excited to wake up and go throw. So I don't know. It's just something I love to do. So
That's dope. I can definitely see your passion for it in all your videos and literally watching your journey. Definitely a fan of it. You got my support for sure. But one question about hammer, is it more of a skill set? Is it like the technique? Is it brute strength? Like what all goes into that hammer throw?
so I personally think it's kind of a skill, more a rhythm based skill. You can get away with being like super strong, gripping and ripping, they like to say. But personally, like you want to be able to kind of be like, I want to say like a ballerina or like a dancer in there. You want to just be smooth and have a rhythm and just set it up and get the speed to it. So
Okay. Spin fast. You get that speed in there. I
yeah,
see what you're saying. Okay.
so.
Got you. You mentioned your goals, and training hard and staying motivated to actually achieve those goals. What are your goals this season? What are you looking to accomplish?
So this season, I would love to throw over 70 meters. It's a goal I've been chasing. I was kind of chasing it last year, but 70 meters this year, and then ultimately try to get to that U.S. Nationals in the summer would be awesome. But yeah, and then ultimately the ultimate goal is to make it to the U.S. trials. So
Hey, let's go. You got it, bro. With the way you staying locked in, the way you're progressing with your skill set, it's definitely,
yeah,
a possibility for you. Like you said, just gotta stay locked in, continue grinding, and it'll happen for you, man. But let's go back to your journey. So you started, middle school, then high school. You tried the shot put, tried the discus, then you went off to college. So what high school did you go to? And then, what was it like transitioning to college for you?
so I went to two high schools. I went to Milton Hershey for most of my from ninth to 10th grade. Then I transferred over to Northern Lebanon. That's when I started to throw. Then I went to college actually as a decathlete.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
I had a little bit of throwing experience. I did a little high jump, little long jump, little sprinting, and then ultimately when I got to college, we were doing it was some hills like 1,000-meter hills, and then we're running them, right? Like, because you got to ultimately have some distance space to be a decathlete.
Right.
I'm like, I don't really like this. You know what I mean? I don't really like running. And so I made the choice to like just let me just be a thrower. And it kind of worked out. So
Yeah, no, definitely worked out. You definitely have that throw in you. I see that brute strength, but also see you locking in and developing your skill set. That's why I had to ask: is it just brute, or is it more skill based? So what was it like transitioning to college, going from that decathlete to being just a thrower?
I mean, so it was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. I had a tough time my first 4 years in college. Um, trying to, we didn't have a coach at Cal at the time at Cal U. Um, so it was kind of rough. You're kind of doing things on your own, trying to find things. And throwing's a finesse sport, so you really don't have the great technique. It's ultimately not going to go as far as you want. So I bounced around. Ended up transferring a couple times, and I ended up at Lock Haven. Um, yeah, I mean, once I got to Lock Haven, it was pretty easy because we had a full-time coach here, and that helped the transition part. But just learning to be mature in college was the toughest part. But so
Interesting. Okay. I have to ask, did you transfer to find a coach that can actually help you develop your skills? Or was there some other like academics, your major, other stuff going on?
uh, well, I wanted to play football in college. I had this great idea. I wanted to play football, be a dual sport athlete. So I bounced around. I ended up going to Bloom, then I transferred to Lock Haven because I had a couple friends that went here. So that was the main factor of getting to the school I was at and ultimately graduated from. But yeah, the coach she was a really good coach at the time, so she let me on the team, so that played a factor into it.
Okay. Now you mentioned you bounced around a little bit. What made you want to transfer to that school that you end up at, specifically as opposed to all of the other schools that you could have, went to and all the other opportunities you could have accepted? Why that school?
I think because it was local. It was like 2 hours from where I actually live.
Okay.
I never really did the whole searching for college, looking the whole recruiting thing. Um, so having a couple of friends that said, "Oh, Lock Haven's cool. It's a small school." That sounded nice to me. I'm not really a big city guy. Kind of like being in the wood, not the woods, but like the mountains area, and being like not as packed. So and Lock Haven offered that for me. So
Wow. Okay. And what's your experience? What has your experience been like at Life Haven?
I mean, it's been nice. I mean, every school has its ups and downs, but they really allowed me to. They accepted who I was and all the stuff that came with me, and gave me the opportunity to throw. And I'm going to be forever thankful for that because there's plenty of reasons why they shouldn't have let me be on the team, but they ultimately did, and it worked out. So that's what I'm happy for.
Nah, that's major. Yeah, finding a school that or program coaches that actually believe in you and will give you that opportunity amongst, all the other things that are going on off the track, they actually believed in you and gave you that opportunity. So that's pretty dope. Now, a couple more questions about that hammer throw. What are the workouts like? What do you have to do to actually build the skill to, be able to perform better, to throw further?
Okay. So the workout, I mean, I can't really go into too much detail because it's kind of like top secret.
Mm-hmm.
But I can give you the basis of what of some stuff I do. Just being explosive and being dynamic is the biggest things in being a hammer thrower, as well as core strength. Um, core and leg strength is the biggest. So I do a lot of like Olympic lifting. And then rather than that, we just throw. We get the reps in and just get after it. That's pretty much what the basis of my training is throwing, being smart with training, not so like not getting injured, and lifting. So and eating right and getting 8 hours of sleep. So
Yeah, that recovery part, sleeping is a major part. But now, speaking of Olympic lifting, what is your favorite Olympic lift that you feel helps translate over to that hammer throw?
My personal favorite is power clean. I love a power clean, especially when we're putting some heavy weight on it, or a power pull. I love that. I think it helps me feel strong and feel explosive. If you're putting 140 kilos on a bar and you're getting it up, pulling it up high, I mean,
You know,
it's you know what I mean.
yeah.
You're in pretty
You
good
know you
shape.
working, you getting strong.
Yeah.
You about to go to work for sure when the meet comes. I hear you. Okay. So we got our favorite Olympic lift, right? We know what we doing in practice, working on the technique, trying to spin faster.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the workout is over, you mentioned eating, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite post-workout meal? How do you have to eat to actually develop, and push your performance? Is it like high protein, high what are those meals? What's your favorite post-workout meal?
Favorite post meal is, I would say, PB&J, simple PB&J with some water, some creatine in it. I do a lot of cooking, so I'm big on getting a lot of carbs and a lot of protein in, and just calories in general. Because I'm burning a lot of calories throwing 2 hours, then 2 hours lifting. So you got to just replenish all that you're losing to stay on top of making those gains.
No, most definitely. Yeah, those are, as I'm watching the throwers, I'm like, man, that's intense. I'm gonna stay over here on the track because in the
Yeah.
weight room, like you said, heavy weight with the power cleans, pulls, like it's some serious work. It's nothing easy at all, So you definitely have to replenish those calories and probably, more in order to build that muscle, build that strength up and perform well. Okay. Now that we got your favorite workout, your favorite post-workout meal, right? Track is over. So there's a point where we all have to hang up our spikes, hang up your throw shoes, What are your goals after track? Are you looking to build your own brand and, mentor athletes, coach athletes, or is there something else that really want to lock in and be able to do?
I would love to start my own throwing club, buy some property, put a circle in the backyard, and start teaching kids how to throw the hammer in PA, because they don't really throw it in high school here. So just starting our own club and doing that. The spin faster club, I don't know. But then also I would love to get into more video, so I'm a videographer. Love to start making more edits for track and field, because I feel like track and field is such a cool event, sport in general, that you need to broadcast it more, especially for throws. So I'd love to do that.
No, I can definitely see it. It makes sense why your videos are so good now. You're
Thank
executing them thinking like a videographer for sure. That all makes sense. But yeah, that's there's not very much content out there for throws, hammer throws specifically. That is one of the reasons I follow your journey, but one of the reasons I really wanted to have you on is so we can have this conversation about hammer throw and highlight more throwers specifically. So it would be dope to see a hammer throw club. At the high school that I went to, there was no hammer throw. There was shot put. Then I want to say my junior year, they got some discus. Now they're out there throwing discus. We didn't have no pole vaulters, no hammer throw. So it would be dope to actually see somebody, create a club and be able to help mentor and coach athletes and get to the level that you're at. That would be amazing.
Trying to grow the sport, just grow the event and grow the sport in general would be my ultimate goal. So
That's dope. That's definitely a possibility for sure. Now, speaking about those, younger athletes or being able to mentor them, coaching them, what's something that you wish you could have told yourself back in middle school or high school? Something that you know now that you wish you could have told yourself.
Dang, that's a good question. I would probably tell myself just to stay consistent with it, and keep chasing that dream. Because there was a point in time where you kind of stopped doing it, kind of stopped falling out. For me, it was falling out of love with it, but just stay consistent and keep after it, and then get after it. That's basically what I would tell myself. So
Okay, I hear you. Because I'm assuming I see a lot of the training, and it definitely seems like something you have to be consistent with. Is it a feeling that like if I'm not as consistent, if I'm not training hard, I'll lose it?
Mm.
You know, do you see the performance dipping on the days that, you know, you're not as consistent, or the times that you weren't as consistent?
So I can, yes and no. I can relate to, like, so when I was training in college, so you were always like, oh, you come into the fall, preseason, you throw, get weight season, and then you throw hammer in the spring. And then once the summer comes, you kind of take a break. So that was kind of my routine when I was in college. But then ever since I started training with Patty McGrath up in New York, it's all we throw. You throw during the summer, you throw during the fall, you get out there in the winter. So it's just that's what I mean with being consistent with it. Not just, oh, let me just take a break from it for 1 or 2 months and then come back to it. Just keep after and just not letting up, because ultimately reps is what helps you get better. And
Right.
that's what I'll tell anyone. Just stay consistent and get the reps in.
Yeah, those reps are important, you know, in all the events in track and field. You know, there's multiple genres, but if you're not getting those reps in, you know, you don't really know where you're at. You're not going to be able to push your skill, you know, push your performance. Now, with me being a sprinter, I feel like sprints is a full body, you know, competition or movement. Like there's days where I'm fully dead, you know. Is hammer throw like that, or is it just upper body? Is it, you know what I'm saying? You said you have to push your leg strength as well. What does it feel like to actually, you know, be training for it, getting ready for it in the fall, competing? Like, what does it feel like?
Feel like when I'm throwing, or feel like when I'm
Both.
tired, or both?
Yeah, all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I mean, for me, right, it feels good. Because I've been training for over a year and a half now under the same coach and same routine. So like right now, I feel good. During like the winter, you get a little bit like kind of like beaten up sometimes because it's cold. And you're outside throwing in the snow and stuff, and then training. Some of the weights go up. You add some different exercises to the training. So some days you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. And then what we are like told is like, if you don't feel good that day, you feel something's not clicking, your legs feel tired, like just go home. Because there's no reason to try to push yourself when it's not really feeling good, like that, because that's when ultimately like injuries start to occur and start to happen. Like go home, get a good meal in, get some more sleep if you need sleep, and then get back at it another day, because there's ultimately another day in the week where you can go and get after it. That's just the way my training's set up. But right now, like I feel good. Like I could any day of the week could be like that day.
You
And
ready to
so
go.
right now it's just we're primed, we're getting ready for that June season and making a push to try to get to USA's. So right now I feel explosive and just snappy. Like that was the word, just feel good. So
Wow, that's amazing. One question that I've always wanted to ask a thrower, right? We see you lifting heavy weights. We literally see you launching, whether it's the shot put, the discus, or the hammer throw so far, and we know you have so much strength. What does that feel like off the track? Is it like you just know, like I'm stronger than everybody out here? What does that feel like?
I mean it feels good. Like you just walking around, got the
Yeah.
muscles, and you have to track me. It's just I don't know. For me, it feels good. It's like, yeah, I can throw that thing far, and I can lift that heavy weight. So you kind of feel like the man. That's what I would say.
Yeah, nah, that's throwers had that mentality of like I'm the man. It's like, hey, respect to you, my boy. You for sure big out here, strong out here. So
And
that's dope.
you,
Um, go ahead.
oh, you and like that mentality, like you kind of have to have it when you're throwing. Like it kind of helps. Like you're in the circle by yourself. Like
All right,
if you're not confident within your own ability to throw far, are you really gonna
bro.
give yourself like an advantage to throw far? You know what I mean? So it's carrying that, like, yeah, I'm the man. I live strong. I've been preparing. Like I got this, and it's translating to the circle. It just it kind of elevates your like throwing, I think. So that's what I try to carry myself confidently, so I can carry myself confidently in the circle. So
Dog, yeah, definitely you gotta have that dog in you.
You gotta have that dog.
Gotta have the dog in you. So tomorrow you're competing in, you said Maryland, right?
Yep.
So has your season already started, or is this like one of the first track meets, as you say, gearing up into to June, into the big meets?
This is my sixth meet on the year already. I opened up spring break trip at Myrtle Beach. Nice early, trying to get used to competing again. So that's the big thing. Cause for me personally, I get a little antsy and a little mental sometimes, like overexcited and wanting to go. So learning to dial myself back and just trusting the technique instead of trying to force the technique is the biggest thing that I'm working on right now. So, and I feel ready to go. So,
got you. Well, I'm wishing you the best at your competition tomorrow. I'm definitely going to check in and, check the results and see how you do. Wishing you a healthy season with plenty PRs, and, you got the potential to take it as far as you want, continue to stay locked in. You really got that, bro.
I appreciate that.
Of course, man. Well, definitely want to say thank you for, taking the time out of your day to have this conversation with me. It's been great getting that insight from a thrower. You're literally the first thrower that we had on the live show on our podcast. So I definitely want to say thank you for that. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
Of course, man. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day. Focus on your recovery. Get ready for that big meet tomorrow, man.
Yes, sir.